Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the reaction phase. You guys know me. My name is Josh, and I am here with the buddy, Louis from Kitchen Table TCG.
The buddy? I used to be the homie. What happened?
Hey, you ostracized me for calling you the homie.
That's fair. Cheers, man.
Cheers, man.
You wanted to drink wine, and I was like, okay. And I went to my fridge, and my mom must have left this here last time she visited. I don't drink wine.
I just meant like drinks. Wine is heart healthy.
You said, do you want to drink open bottles of wine on the podcast today?
I said that.
Wait, do you want me to read? You want me to read the tweet, the quote, the tweet, the text message,
the tweet? Do it.
It was no bottle of wine tonight? ?
No, because the text before that was drinks ? Drinks tonight.
No, anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Let's
Cheers,
go.
Man.
Welcome, man. What's going on?
Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to be reminiscing on like our favorite Flesh and Blood moments and just celebrating Flesh and Blood in the game and our involvement thus far. I'm super excited, man. This is going to be a fun conversation. Like we have like no topics. Like the topic 2 is it's titled Two Friends Talking About FaB. It's just going to be casual and fun. I hope you guys enjoy it.
This is going to be great, and with that greatness comes some news. For all of you fans out there of the reaction phase, this is the last time that you will view the reaction phase as it is currently constructed, with Josh and Louis talking about FaB news, FaB gameplay, FaB business, whatever it might be. This is the last episode of that format. Louis, you're not going to be reacting to any phases here anymore.
No phases, no more reactions.
No phases. You have phased out.
I'm not phasing out. Like I'm still gonna be involved in Flesh and Blood and lightly making content. You can't get rid of me. Like I'm not stupid. But like my channel, my life's just been such a mess. Like the basement, the house, the kids, like my life has changed so much over the last 2 years. I don't feel like my content is on par with where I want to be. So my channel is changing and making some dynamic shifts. So I just don't feel like I'm gonna be able to offer much on this thing. So best of luck to the endeavors in the reaction phase.
Yeah, there's who knows what comes next for the reaction phase, but you guys want to know more, you can go over to Kitchen Table T, youtube.com/Kitchen Table TCG, and you can check out a video that Louis dropped today. If you're watching the podcast the day it comes out, like a good, reliable reaction phase viewer that we just dropped a bombshell on.
Well, and then there's also news for May the Zoo Be With You, because I care so much about our friendship. I did not want to not have a podcast with you. So you are hopping over to May the Zoo Be With You. We're going to be talking a lot about Magic, and you do a lot of Magic content, and you are a great Magic player, and you bring that to a much needed player perspective for George and I.
I'm really excited to finally teach you guys how to play Magic. So I'm so pumped for that moment.
We're going to be talking a lot about Magic and the other TCGs that we always talk about, though, on the May the Zoo Be With You podcast, and Josh is going to be there. So if you like the banter between Josh and I, come check us out on Friday morning. So glad to have you there, man. This is not a severance of our. Have you watched that show? I don't even want to get into it.
Never mind. No FaB reminiscing right now. We're talking TV shows. What are we talking?
Have you watched Severance?
I have not.
Oh, it's so good.
We have little Dominaria who is about to enter the world, so we're like saving like shows that we want to watch because we know we're gonna have to sit there for a while.
I can't believe you stole that joke from George. Like you robbed it out of him. The little Dominaria joke. I'm sure he was like ready for it. And your joke, calling her little is her name actually Dominaria?
I can't confirm nor deny. If I say her name on the podcast, my wife will kill me, and then I will do neither podcast.
It's not Dominaria. All right, let's start reminiscing. People are bored already. Let's get it.
Dude, people are bored because this is the worst podcast on a Monday morning at this time. But I wanted to start by kicking things off with asking you, I've never asked you how you got into Flesh and Blood. I've never asked you. I just kind of took it for granted.
So I'm in a Facebook group with some I'm not gonna give the exact details of the group, but it's a bunch of Magic the Gathering collectors and traders and people who are involved. It's like one of those communities where you have to, like, once a year you get an invite, and so once you're in, it's like a cool place to be. It's like a super small community, and they were talking about how much WTR Alpha was pumping, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, Arcane Rising is the same, like arguably could be the same print run, and it was only $120 at the time." And they were like, "Hey, everyone should be buying a box of this. At least have some exposure." I was like, "Sure." First, I said no, and I was like, "All new TCGs fail. It's stupid." I didn't buy any Rudy bundle. I've been a Rudy patron for 6 years or something, and I never bought a bundle or anything like that. And then I bought a case of Arc first. I still have 2 of the boxes in my house, and I bought a case of Arc first, and then from there then I was like, oh, I don't want to open Arc first because it's going to be worth $1 billion someday. No, I think it was actually, I was like, I'm not going to open a box of Arc first because it's going to be worth like $600 a box someday, and that's going to be super expensive.
You sweet summer child.
Back then, like, I mean, for me, like, my collection was so different. Like, I didn't have a $600 box of cards. Like, 100 at the time, a $600 investment in a case was like a metric ton for me in my collection. And things have been changing, but so I bought it, and then I was like, oh, I want to open something, so I started buying Crucible to see the cards, and I was like, oh, I want to open a shard. There's a $600 card, so I started recording videos. So that's how like the whole thing started, was like, I want to pull a $600 card.
I mean, sure, I want to pull a $600.
I want to have it on video though. That's how it started.
So someone has to go back and clip where you jokingly just said all new TCGs fail, or all indie TCGs. Like,
that was my attitude, 100%.
Somebody clip the absolute bejesus, and for the next 5 years, just anytime it's appropriate, just play that.
Anytime I make a video about a new TCG.
Dude, that's awesome, and it's so funny that there's this weird, like, for a while, and it's not so much anymore, but for a while, people were like, when indie TCG started becoming a thing, like, it was really prominent with MetaZoo. Like, if you like MetaZoo, you can't like something. And it all started with people from one TCG suggesting another I've never asked you that story. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, my story is actually flipped. I sat down with John, hometown TCG John Wood. I sat down with him, and I was teaching him Magic, and we were playing Commander. And it was 3 brand new players and me that's been playing Magic forever. And I bought all of the sealed product, like just the sealed Commander decks. I bought sleeves. I sleeved them all. I double sleeved them all.
Of course,
and of course I did. And one is back right here. And we played Commander. And it was so slow because they had never played before that they would come over at a regular Commander night, and they were just like not excited about it. And then next thing I knew, they stopped showing up. And what they were doing is they were playing Flesh and Blood. They had we had a distributor relationship. So they were just they liked the game night. They didn't like playing Commander. So they were looking for another game. They picked up Flesh and Blood. And then for several weeks, I didn't hear from them. I was like, what's going on? And then finally I was brought into the loop. So my transition was like the opposite. I was trying to like pull them in over here. And they were like, no. Little do you know, we're about to hook you on this thing.
That's like Commander is such a terrible way to teach people how to play Magic.
It is. I was
so funny. It's such a terrible way. Every card's different. There's like anyway. That's not Magic.
It's such a bad way. And the problem is as everyone's reading their cards and trying to react to everything going around on the table, every turn takes an hour.
Yeah.
Like you play and then you sit there for so long and do nothing. If people don't know what's going on, right? So, it was so horrible. But I started and I quickly found out, like, what drew me in right away was like the skill required behind Flesh and Blood, because I've told this story a bunch of times. I'm a competitive person, and John's a competitive person. And so to teach me, we just sat down and played. And I was like, you're never going to go easy on me. And he beat me like 21 times in a row. like over the course of multiple days, I just got beat in this game. I was so mad. I was so mad. I was I want to quit.
What was your hero?
Dorinthia
was your hero.
Dorinthia, man. Dorinthia was the deck. I was like, I bought $100 booster box of Magic cards. I was getting back into like picking up TCGs after a little hiatus, and I bought $100 booster box, and I felt guilty. I was like, I can't believe I just spent $100. Now, like, okay, please shield your eyes,
dude. COVID changed everything for people who are involved in TCGs. I was like, oh, stimulus check, $1,500. Heck yeah, baby, let's go.
I was like, what's the cheapest constructed deck I can build? Oh, it's Dorinthia. That one. And I bought none of the legendary. I just kept getting stomped. And actually, I bought a bunch of stuff from the Midtown Merchant. Actually,
Mitch.
I bought a ton of stuff. What was your first deck?
Everything's full circle. So like, dude, FaB was hard for me. Like I started playing in the middle of the pandemic, right? Like that's when I started the boxes in the channel and wherever. And I had nobody to play with. Nobody else was involved in it. I bought those. I bought those the pre-con, the original pre-cons, which were like, I think they were they CC decks? They weren't even Blitz decks.
I don't even know what you're talking
about. The alpha pre-cons, the original 4 alpha.
Oh yeah. I think they were Blitz decks, weren't they?
I think they're CC decks. They're thick old boxes. Don't look it up. Let's just go with it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're CC decks.
I had to know.
All right, look it up. I'm 90% sure they're CC decks. And okay.
They're CC decks.
I didn't know how to play. I had no clue how to play. And there was no how to play videos. Like the official FaB website or channel had some stuff, but like it wasn't, for me, it didn't work to teach me how to play. So I had no clue how to play.
Yeah.
So I started, my first time playing was after I had started my first time playing was with Sean from Cardboard Dreams at the time, who's now Team Kitchen Fable. And we hopped on, and I think somebody in the Discord, I think I had already started a Discord server, and they kind of taught me, or I was like even live streaming maybe, and people were like teaching us how to play while I was live streaming, because I had started trying to play with Robbie, because he was like the only person I ever hung out with in the during, you know, how like nobody was like supposed to hang out with anybody, but you had like one or two friends that you like.
Oh God, what did people call it?
You didn't hang out with.
No, but it was like your social pod or whatever, or
social
we can interact with each other because we're in the same pod, and you're always like, that's not how any of this works.
So like I tried to play with Robbie, but I didn't know how to. I had no clue what I was doing, and like anyway,
hair is ridiculous.
So that's how. So my first deck then that I actually tried to build after playing, I think was like Cheyenne. Like I'm pretty sure my first deck was like a Cheyenne after the pre-cons, because I had no clue what I was doing. I was always like casual. And in my play group, in my commander group, and I know this is baffling to you. This is gonna shock you. In my play groups, I'm like the person who helps people learn how to play. Like I'm why? I'm horrible at TCGs. I'm like the rules expert in our group. It's horrible.
Yeah, people hang out down. It's fine. But you've been a baller since the start, because you're like, oh, I'll just play Shayana. What?
No, yeah, I mean, like that's I can't. Don't quote me on that. That may be not accurate, but
I know my first. I played Dorinthia because the deck was $50. You played Cheyenne.
I know my first deck tech on the channel is Cheyenne. And maybe it was, anyway.
Oh, see, I was competitive from the start, because my first deck tech with John on the channel was Blitz Kano. Right away, it was Kano, dude.
So you had John, who's like he's a competitive TCG guy, right?
Yeah, we both are.
We both are. But I went hard, man. Like that. You know how like in the pandemic, you just didn't have anything else to do?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm in. I was like, I'm in. Here's the channel. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna I'm just gonna all my time, all my free time, all my free money, all my energy is going towards this. I was just like all in, baby. I had all sorts. I had one kid. My wife was working night shifts in the ER, and like I had all the free time in the world. I was like, I'm all in. I was like at home working. Right, I'm like looking up cards, like who knows? It was fun.
I will admit that I have tweaked a deck or two, written a deck guide or a sideboard guide or two while I've been working.
I hope your boss doesn't watch us.
No, even if he does, as long as it gets done, right? That's all that matters. But the biggest mystery for me, and something that I screamed from the mountaintops from the start of this game, is I played Dorinthia and I bought Twinning Blades, and they weren't like, I think they were like $18 a piece, like just like normal TCG prices. They hadn't done the whole Crucible of War thing yet, and I bought, and I hated that card because I'd play it with like, it's like, oh, you can attack another time with the sword again, but I didn't have an action point. I didn't have go again, right? Or like the sword didn't hit or something. Like I couldn't figure out, and so every time I played it wrong and my friends corrected me, I was like, I hate this card. Take this card out of this deck. This is the worst deck. This is the worst card. And it literally was just like this mental block that I had around Twinning Blade. And that to me is why they changed Dorinthia's power. That's why Dorinthia got a new power in classic battles, because old Dorinthia is like super frustrating to understand at the start. Oh, dude, I was so mad.
Just Twinning Blade. That's it.
That's it. But there was when you played, like, were you going to armories and stuff, or were you just playing in a play group?
No. Oh God, no. There's no armories around me. So the store that I got FaB product from originally, way back, I went there and I was like, hey, will you order, Flesh and Blood? I'd love to buy it. And he's like, I'm not carrying a new game. And I was like, yeah, but I want to buy it. Like,
I want to buy it.
And he's like, I'm like, no. And I was like, how about this? Here's my stimulus check. Here's $1,000. Like, buy me product. Like, and I ended up getting it at the time at like basically at cost. Like he marked it up. He's like, I make like $15 on a magic box. So like, just pretend it's a magic box. Like I was getting it at like, cost plus $15. He had no clue what map was, or like he didn't know what Flesh and Blood was. He had no clue what it was. So I just started buying product from there, and I mean, we were in the middle of the pandemic. Nobody was running events or anything. So my armories were the ones that I started hosting. I started hosting events before I was ever a shop. And then they turned into armories when I got my when I decided to start a business and decided to start a shop. That was my first armory, was one that I was hosting. I had no clue what the heck I was doing. We were like in the Discord server. I was like, hey, does anybody know how to use Gem? And like people helped me figure it out because they wanted a place to play. And many of them had never played before.
Well, it was the pandemic just like forcing everyone into this like box way back then. Dude, it's so crazy to think like I played a skirmish. I played an online skirmish, and John came over to my house, and we're in the office that I'm in right now, which is my work from home office. And now at this point, I wish I could spin the camera around, but I'll never get it set back up again. It is just the hometown TCG studios. There's posters everywhere. There's a podcasting couch, so many shelves. Like, it's crazy.
You have a podcasting couch?
Well,
what are you doing at your desk? Like, what is this?
Well, it's an in-person podcasting couch.
I'm sorry.
You haven't committed to move to Chicago yet.
Dude, all right. Real talk. So MinMax is, if you haven't watched my video yet, I've sold my collection to MinMax. I say that in my video. I'm not coming up to you. I'm meeting him halfway, I think. I can't take a full 2 days, man. I got 2 kids. It's hard. So it's like easier to meet halfway and come home. So
I literally have baby stuff.
I know. I'm sorry.
You could just use it's girl baby stuff. You could just use the baby stuff. You could stay here. There's no hotel cost. I can put you on the podcasting couch.
We could have done this episode from there. I'm sorry. I feel bad about it, but also like my kids are more important than you. So it's like,
there's never been something more egregious uttered on this podcast. But so he came over and we set up tables and cameras in this office, or like he was on the other side of the office out in the basement hallway, and I was in the office so that you couldn't pick us up on each other's mic. And we played like an 6 or 8 hour skirmish or whatever it was on webcam, and then we would get together after each round and talk about the round, and then go back to our table and jump into Discord. So like that was one of my first major events. It was from there. Like
yeah, I mean that's literally every Armory event I've ever done has been online. There's nothing else here. I mean,
so I did no. We supported 3 stores that we got into the game, and we attended every Armory every week. So awesome. 3 armories every week. John and I were bouncing around. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Something you can only do if you don't have kids.
Well, that would not fly right now, for sure. 100%. Like, me and my wife didn't have kids, obviously, and we were, the first one's on its way now. But man, 3 armories, like, that's draining. And then not only that, but when we started to become like staples of the community and started the channel, and people we knew were following us, I was trying to bring different decks to like all of them. Because we were notorious for like, I want to play the best deck. And that's when I first got the bite of like, oh, I'm not gonna Louis. I'm not bringing Cheyenne, but I'm bringing because I don't have a Cheyenne. I still don't. I don't have it.
Yeah. All right.
But so I was bringing different decks. So
Cheyenne is such a cool card. That's the only card from Crucible of War I never pulled. I think I opened like 39, 40 boxes of Crucible of War on the channel. So maybe even upwards of that.
Your journey is wild. You opened that much crew?
I opened 24 crew first myself. I opened an entire playset of like an entire collection of like rainbow foils myself. Like I didn't buy any. Then I traded. I think I traded for like 2 cold foils. Like I think I didn't have. I don't think I opened a Courage or a Gorganian Tome rainbow foil. I never opened one of those. So I opened 24 boxes of crew first myself, but way before it was worth any money. I mean, it was it was $75 on eBay. I was buying boxes. I couldn't get enough boxes from the store. I had to buy them on eBay.
You had to go to eBay.
Yeah.
Dude, you and me had such opposite journeys. I have a picture on my phone, and we were gonna make it a sleeve, and it's of me holding a box of Welcome to Wraith. Unlimited, and that's the first FaB box I ever opened, and I took a selfie holding this box, and I have that picture somewhere on my phone, and I opened very few boxes because I was like, I can't justify spending
all
this.
I did was open the crazy thing though to think about, is this true? Other than boxes that I've opened for the store, like for singles, like when it's funny, like when WTR went out of print, I had been asking for WTR from my distributor for months. They never had any. Never had any WTR. Can I get some WTR? Can I get some WTR? Maybe 1 box here, maybe 1 box there. All of a sudden one day I was like, hey, can I get some WTR? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, can I get like 20 boxes? He's like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Can I get 50 boxes? He's like, yeah. I was like, can I get like 200 boxes? He's like, oh yeah, I can do that. I was like, what is happening? And so then I got him, and like literally like 3 minutes later, I know I have been, my wife will be like, any number that Louis gives you, divide by 2 and subtract 10, and that's the accurate number. I know I exaggerate things.
15 minutes has a lot more meaning now. Got it.
Not 3 minutes after like I hung up the phone with my distributor is when they announced WTR was out of print. Anyway, and it was just a funny thing. So I had like 200 boxes, and then I thought they were gonna sell, but they didn't sell. So then I was like, oh, I gotta do something with them. So I opened 150 boxes of WTR just for singles. But other than that, I think
is this WTR first or WTR?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought it was WTR Unlimited, right?
I didn't get involved. Yeah. I bought 1 box of WTR Alpha for myself, and it was $800. That's the only box that I bought as an investment for Flesh and Blood.
My WTR Alpha story is cooler than yours.
What's your WTR Alpha story?
John and I were we had the distributor relationship at the time, and we were like, here and there, we get a case.
Sketchy distributor relationship.
I'm not willing, and because we're not a store, but somebody thought we were a store, but we're not a store. So we had I won't mention which distributor, but I will never badmouth them because, they hooked me up unknowingly to them.
Wow.
We were just hearing about investing in TCGs. And I went from $100 box, I felt bad, to I was going to put in $2,000 and we were going to buy as much WTR from this distributor as they would let us have.
Yeah.
And then that day it starts climbing on eBay and the guy pulled our order. He pulled it and we got none.
Wow.
We got none. It was the number that will always stick out of my mind where I knew that I was going to make money. Cause I was like, here's 2,000 of my dollars. I'll get it to you. Put in this order. It hit $298 a box. I can still remember sitting at my desk and looking at the eBay sold listing of $298. I was like, I am going to make a killing, and then nothing. I made
distributors
nothing.
Are so shady. It's unbelievable. It was that long ago.
I got kicked in the nads. Well, no, I mean, we weren't even a store. We weren't supposed to be able to get any. But
yeah, but like still. Still. No, man, like I bought 1 box of alpha for myself. Still had it. I still have it. It's
dude, that is sick. That's something I wish I had in a collection. Like one of the first 3 first edition boxes. So that's really cool that you have. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man. So
yeah.
When the market starts pumping, okay, go ahead. So
every other box I've ever opened, I think I already said this. I don't remember. Has been on the channel, which I think is kind of cool. Like
that is neat.
It's just kind of cool. Like
you've never like off the channels, but like I'm opening one for myself.
Not for FaB. Like I always because I opened so much on the channel.
True.
Like I never, other than the time for the store, like I never really like needed to. I don't know.
Right.
Like just for the store, I would open. Like I opened maybe some Everfest boxes for singles, but like as a personal person, it's kind of cool. That's all on the channel.
Dude, that's pretty sweet. That's speaking of the 298. Like when the market started pumping, I was just learning about like TCG investing. This was a new world to me, and I participated in buying out TCG player of Rainbow Foil Majestics.
There you go.
From Crew First. Did you do anything cool like that? Like
so, I would say the only cool stuff that I got to do is like because I was doing the market updates. I would be searching cards all the time. Like, dude, like my last 3-4 weeks at your
life was like
all I did was spend time on like it takes forever to update those things. I was like 4 or 5 hours a day searching at the time, searching through and looking at sold listings and whatever. And the cool stuff was like I would see like at the time it was like a really good deal, like a cold foil common that would be at like, $70-$80 when the rest of them were that on TCG player because the last solds were so low. And it was cool. Like if you go back and watch those videos, it's fun to be like, hey, look at this one. I just bought it while I was doing the numbers. I just got it for $70, but the other ones are selling. Like it was just really cool to it
was so swingy. You bought it for $70 one day. It was what is it? Spoils of War. I bought foil Spoils of War for like $18-$20 or something, and then all of a sudden they're like $120, and then they're $60, and then they're $100, and you're like, what is happening right now? What's going on?
So when I finished my Crew collection, and there's a video of this on channel. I think on my channel, I think it's called like
your whole FaB life is videoed. I'm jealous. I made a lot of videos and stuff. You crushed me in videos.
Every single box.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, not the first. I'm like now I'm going back on everything I said. The first 2 boxes of Crew that I opened at the shop of the LGS I bought Matt because he wanted to see the stuff. But other than the first 2 boxes,
so much for every box. It's a fake story now. So much for every box. First 2. No.
I'm a terrible.
No, I think you have to open the first. Like when you get into a card game, you have to open that first box at the store you buy it at.
Well, he was like, "Why are you so into this?" And I was like, "Look, dude. I'm gonna make $1 million off of this."
watch me open this box right now.
Watch me open a $600 cold foil.
And you had the no cold foil Crew box, and you were like, "Oh,
yeah."
Does the store buy singles?
Anyway, so when I was finishing out my Crew collection, like I bought some cards from like Germany or something. It was like the ones that I was missing. It was like Gorganian Tome and anyway, a couple of cards I was missing. And like by the time I purchased them, remember all the postage and everything was so delayed back then. By the time I purchased them to the time I received them, they went up in value like $700 or $800 or something like that. Like, I felt bad for the guy I bought them from, but like it was like a month that it took, and it was crazy. But yeah, I don't know. We had very different FaB experience. Mine is so connected to the market, so connected to investment and like collecting.
Mine is so connected to, and it still is like just connected. I sat down. I've got a series coming out. We're playing a FaB game a week, and it's going to oscillate between like some competitive decks, some decks that are like pet decks. Do you know what I mean? Some fan favorites. And I sat down with John. So old school, man. Me and John Wood. He came over on a Saturday night, and we sat down. We turned the cameras on, and we were just jamming FaB, laughing our asses off. And I literally thought like, I got a kiddo on the way soon. Like he's doing stuff with acting, and he's on the Hometown TCG Ascent. Like he's on the competitive pro team. Like how you never thought like we'd be here and then still carving out time to get together and just sling cardboard back and forth. Like it was so much fun. We got I don't want to say the two heroes. It might be the first game of these two heroes on the internet.
Wow.
I can't. That is a completely unresearched claim, but I can't imagine anyone else went through it.
It's got to be Guinness. What you need.
What you want, what you need. I can't tell you. That's classified information, my friend. And you're.
I wish I had that. That's one thing I think I never had. The people around me never got into FaB. Like my commander play group, I tried to get them in, and like they were like, I'm not starting a new TCG. I was like, guys, I have a YouTube channel on this. We can do streams all the time. I was like, I'm starting a store. I'll give you guys, we'll open. You guys can have my cards. We can, build decks together. Everything you need. Like, it's just not worth my time, and I just want to play Commander. And it's just never happened for me, man. Like the local side of it in my relationships never it never kicked off. I think that would have been huge for me. It just never happened. So.
It's kind of
the online community was really great for me. Like the Patreon community, the online, like our Thursday night Discord server or Discord armory event. Like those guys are like friends. Like it's fun to like be a part of that, and like it meant a ton to me in the pandemic. Like having that time, having those opportunities to like enjoy time with people. Like I spent so much time alone because of the pandemic. Like being able to talk to people and like celebrate people and it was big. It was really big for me and my mental health and my
bro friends. The kitchen table TCG armories became like talk of the town. Like
we had like 40 50 armories.
We had no personal relationship, you and I. None. And I knew about like your armories and your collection tracker and your market. Like I knew about all that stuff, and I had no idea who you were. Okay, real talk. The first time you reached out to me about doing a sit down chat, 'cause you're like, "Oh, this hometown TCG thing's pretty cool. Like, I love to talk to you about like what got you here, what got you into it." I fangirled a little bit. So I had made shout out Dennis from hometown TCG Dennis,
dude. I love
also
Dennis.
known as Big Daddy Vegas.
Big Daddy Vegas.
This guy became like, he is now a personal, like close friend of mine. Like I would trust him with my upcoming child. We're that close. And when you reached out, I screenshotted it and sent it to him right away. I was like, oh my God, what do I say? What do I say? And now I know you, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have been that excited at all. Like that was
not
ridiculous.
At all. This is all you get, baby. This is it. This is it.
Yeah,
I was like, no different on the camera than it is off the camera.
I kept expecting there to be something more for you to be like interesting, and then never happened.
In my defense, everything I did was flesh and blood. It's the only thing I have. Like that's the only the only cover.
I hope my two kids never watch this podcast.
No, like my kids and flesh and blood. That's it. That's all.
Your wife never watches this podcast. Stop dropping the ball, man.
She's working.
Yeah, so you can do this.
We got to pass the kid. Don't get me in trouble, Dana. I love you.
I know.
It's a joke.
I'm really trying to get you in trouble at this point.
She's not gonna watch this podcast. She doesn't watch my content. She knows better.
This is my content.
um,
She watches my content though.
I want to talk though about my favorite moment, my favorite situation in Flesh and Blood history.
Okay.
And that is Las Vegas. Man, I can't even, like, if I could go back to one weekend I think almost it would be really interesting. Like if I could go back to one weekend, certainly in my adult life, yeah, like I would choose that. Like it was the perfect combination.
Towing the line of like the birth of my children, my wedding.
Well, like, I don't want to go back to the birth of my. I don't want to go back to the birth of my children. That's like, it's a weird, dude. Like that's such a stressful time. Weddings too. Like weddings are stressful as hell, man.
My wedding was great.
Like I don't want to get into weddings. Like let's put two people who are completely opposite and two families that are completely opposite and be like, hey, here you have to have the most pressured like night of your life.
You better go have fun.
You better have fun. You better enjoy it. Like it's such a just people, if you're thinking about getting married, just take the money. No, like, get married. Get married. No, hold on. If you're thinking of having a wedding, just
why when you do this is it on my channel? Every time you've done this on this podcast is on Hometown TCG. On Kitchen Table TCG, you're like, the sanctity of marriage is important, kids. On my channel, you're like, spend the money, let's go.
Because when we're on your channel, you tell me to get a bottle of wine. No, if you're gonna have a wedding, don't spend the money and instead go with your spouse and spend like a month together. For the same amount of money as your wedding, you can spend like a month in Italy. Like probably not. In Italy, water's like $7. In Italy,
yeah. What?
Yeah, like for water, you have to pay for it. It's completely insane.
Yeah, but I bet wine in Italy is so cheap.
It's probably cheaper than water. Anyway, Vegas.
Who on this podcast was born in Italy?
Me. You were born in Italy? I wasn't born in Italy, but I'm Italian.
Anyway, Vegas.
So like Vegas was so much fun. Like it was a perfect combination of like being home and isolated for so long and not being around people, and then like creating relationships with friends, being like, are these people real? Like, are these friendships real? And then you get there and it's like, you just hug them. You just go in for a hug. And like, it was just cool to like be around the people that you had spent 6-7 months with in the pandemic playing this game. And your friends didn't want to play with you, but these people did. It was just, it meant a lot to me.
They learned who you were, and they were like, "Oh God, I see why his friends don't want to play with him." They talk all the time.
It was
stop talking. He's a content creator.
Yeah, it was just fun. It was a good time. Do
you remember in Vegas you hooked me up with a marker because someone asked me to sign a card, and there was no way I thought someone was going to ask me to sign something. I didn't have a freaking marker. Like, what do you mean?
That was weird.
Yeah. I looked and I was like, "Oh, that guy'll have a marker. He's got it together. He knows what he's doing." And
I almost always have a Sharpie on me.
Sharpie's like what I write. You gave me one to keep. I brought it back to you and asked you to sign it, and you turned me down. No, when I walked into the convention in Vegas, we walked in. There was just a little line forming. It was John and I, and we were filming a YouTube short. Walking in, and you walked over. You finished the short, and you walked over and stuck a camera in our face. And we're like,
"Of course,
hey,
all about the content, man. All about the content."
I was like, and people always like at that event being like, "Oh, you do the hometown TCG stuff." That to me was like, me? It's like, yeah, totally. And meeting all those people that were able to communicate, finally like getting out there, because I was focused so much on getting to these local armories, seeing the reach of like, oh, this deck tech, and then people saying, you shouldn't play this card, you should play this card, or oh, I liked this, but it loses here. And you're like, oh my God, this whole community is like a melting pot of ideas that I need to dive into. And that was the moment I realized I needed to interact with the online community more. So I was like, all these people out here have so many awesome ideas and they love the game. So I have to get into this. I have to get out of my little local bubble and get into this.
Right.
It was crazy. That was so much fun.
Completely different interactions with the game. It's so funny.
So different, yet so similar. I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It's funny that like two people who've reached a very similar point of passion and love for something can have got there two completely different ways. Like, talk about there couldn't be two more different roads, right? And we both got to the same place, which is just really funny to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a the TCG world is interesting like that. Like, I think it's a perfect hobby, man. I really believe trading card games is the perfect hobby, and whatever game you play, whatever game you're interested in, like, I think the idea of sitting. So we did a Pokemon. This is now we're getting like whatever, but I did a Pokemon Learn to Play event today at the shop, and it was so cool. Like, I thought. So there's this like group of like 20-year-olds that comes into the shop on Wednesday nights, and they like open on Saturday nights, and they like, open Pokemon cards. I was like, hey guys, we're doing this Learn to Play event. I thought they would show up. They didn't show up, but you know who showed up? It's crazy. Like a bunch of kids and their parents. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, probably cool. I think we had like eight kids and 8 parents. I was like, this is amazing. These people are going to go home. They've just learned to play a trading card game with each other. They're going to go home and they're going to sit at their table, at their kitchen table. Their kids going to be like, Dad, will you play Pokemon with me? And that dad's going to be able to say, yes. And that relationship, that interaction, you can't get that watching TV together, or like even playing video games. You can kind of get it if you're sitting on the couch there. But nowadays it's like on the Switch and you're like by yourself and you're not interactive. Like when we were kids, it was like,
it's not the same.
Let's play Nintendo together, right? Like, but that interaction and like, I just think TCGs, man, like, it's the best hobby. You can pay for itself. You can, and you can come from a different perspective and different backgrounds and meet together. I think it's a perfect hobby. I agree. I think what TCGs do that other games don't necessarily not do it. Like, you always hear about World of Warcraft friends like meeting for the first time or getting married. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I love everybody in the Discord server, but I would never be like, oh my gosh, like I'm in love with like this person, because like that's crazy to me. Just you're right.
No, that you're 100% correct. Like, I'm all for like, oh, I met my Call of Duty friend for the first time. Like, I'm all for that. I don't know if I could like be in a relationship, like anything more than like, this is my friend. Then like, I mean, we're pretty close friends and we've hung out a total of twice or something like that. So
Vegas. Just twice in Vegas?
No, it was just once
in Vegas. Gosh, have we only met in person once?
Yeah, you were too big time, bro.
George and I have only met in person twice. It's crazy. Like, you two are like two of my better friends. It's crazy.
Just say best. Just let it out.
Like, I can't take that from Robbie. Poor Robbie.
Robbie was a staple on the channel, but now he's gone. No, and I think the thing that I would never.
Jobs suck.
Jobs are dumb. Worse. And not Steve. This isn't a shot, but like regular working jobs, not fun. I'm working on my Steve Jobs. I'm working on my dad jokes. Gosh,
man. I should have gotten the one. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I've made some of my closest friends. Like, this is why I'll mention Dennis by name. I hesitate mentioning other people by name because you'll like forget someone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it feels so bad. Our whole community, like, we get dinner together. Like, they all know my wife. Like, It's crazy. It's so wild. And they all know Kitchen Table TCG too, which was always starting Hometown TCG. That was annoying when they'd always talk about Kitchen Table TCG. I was like, hey guys, but like also us too. Like, cool. Oh man. No, that was so much fun. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm excited. I can't believe we got into this. I'm glad we did.
This has been the best ride of my life. Like
100%. Like, and that's not to say it's over. That's just to say we're talking about at this point.
For me, the channel is moving in a different direction, which is it's bittersweet. I mean, the last year has been different. I mean, like I said, like I don't have a local, you know what I mean? Like it's not that for me. And Flesh and Blood is going that way. So like for me, it's just like a different, it's different and but it's bittersweet. And it's
sure.
I'm not leaving the FaB community. I'm going to be involved, but my focus is going to be. It has been different. And so anyway.
And then I mean, just to add to that, you know, you've been. I've never cared about people's opinions on members of our community. I don't, but what I do care about is you were there from the start and you were someone I looked to when I started this. So personally, I want to thank you for all you've done.
Stop it.
I want to tell you that you probably said some things in the market and told me to buy a Bravo that I'm still going to make you pay for. So, you know, not super happy about that advice.
I never would have in a million years thought that the Bravo would be living legend in like 3 months.
I'm just, you know, if there was one thing about our friendship I could take back, it was that.
That's on me.
But
I told you 225 was a great deal. I did say that. I think
it was 180. You keep saying 225. I'm pretty sure it was 180.
I think the market price was 225 when you asked me. That's why it's in my head.
Yeah, but I think the price I got was lower than that. But no, it's been awesome. I wouldn't take it back for the world. I'm super grateful to have, you know, made friends with you, made friends. Again, the only person I'll name is Dennis because I'm afraid of missing, but all your locals out there, you know who you are. Super glad to have done that. And I'm excited for what the future holds. It's an exciting time.
Listen, Flesh and Blood, in my opinion, is the greatest TCG ever made. And I cannot wait, and I hope to see it succeed beyond, you know, everyone's wildest dreams. And you know, it'll be really, really fun to watch it. I think grow up and change and adapt over the next couple of years. So, pretty cool.
I love it. And if you like the banter, if you like the interaction, remember Louie and Josh, the dynamic duo, will be staying together as a 2-part of the 3-way of the 2-way that already exists.
What is happening right now? What did you?
I'm just trying to make you uncomfortable.
It got real uncomfortable real quick.
I'm doing my best. I'm trying. So no, we'll be moving. I am joining the May the Zoo Be With You podcast. I'm super excited to keep chatting with you guys every week. I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. And you know, we're not gonna be talking about Flesh and Blood and there's gonna be, you know, magic and that kind of stuff. But I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to continue and see where it goes, man. I'm excited. So
I can't wait, man. Until next time, I just want to say cheers, dude. Thanks for all the fun. And
I have to respond to your like over kindness and like you've been. This has been our friendship's not ending, but like,
no, it is. Oh, it's not.
It's not. But dude, this has been fun. This has been one of my like every Sunday I wake up and man, you've polished off that whole bottle. I'm like barely even in here.
No, I was being dramatic because you're being nice.
I look forward to Sundays, man, talking about the game and enjoying it. And you helped me see things differently a lot of the times, and a lot of that's on the podcast. And like, you know, that's just how I do content. It's just like on the sleeve. We figure it out together, and it's been a lot of fun. So those of you who have watched the podcast too, thank you for all the time you've spent with us. If you're interested in other stuff, hope you'll join us on Friday mornings.
And then also, we know the next time you see the reaction phase, if you see it, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm excited for what that might be, what the future holds there. So, yeah, we got to end this. Buddy. We're going to keep
him in the dark, buddy. I don't want to cry. Let's go.
Oh, you're going to Oh, me too. No, I'm very emotional. Until next time, you all out there know me. My name is Josh, and I appreciate each and every one of you, especially you, dude.
Appreciate you, buddy. Oh, cheers. Are we cheersing?
I don't want to hit my camera. It's the one you recommended I buy.
There you go. Cheers.
Take it easy, everyone. We'll see you around. Say it. Say it.
Oh, remember to be kind to the people around you. It's not my channel.
It does. You have ended every single one that way.
Okay, we'll do it right. Be kind to the people around you.